Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning into the question and answer segment for Wednesday, April 8th, 2026. Hey, Jamal.
What's going on, man?
Oh, hear that the ceasefire is no more.
There is that. Again, apologies for the sunlight beaming in on a weird angle. I'm going to change this desk around to try to avoid that in the future. But yeah, ceasefire, flimsy. I think we talked on the show earlier today, the 9 o'clock hour, on how both sides seem to be at odds in the context of the ceasefire. Like one side is saying all the sanctions need to be removed. The war needs to stop against Lebanon and Hezbollah, et cetera, et cetera. And it's become clear that Hezbollah, from Israeli point of view, and apparently from Trump's point of view, thanks, Robbie, that's not included. Whereas from Iran's point of view, it is included. Mm-hmm. And that's not a minor point, right? Like, no. Is Israel going to continue to attack Lebanon? Yay or nay? That's a yes or no. If the answer is yes, and Iran is saying, well, Lebanon is included, what does that mean for a ceasefire?
And Hezbollah, I think it's accurate to say that it's Iran's most important ally.
Yes.
It's most consequential, it's biggest, it's most formidable. It has the most ability to coordinate and assist with Iran. The Houthis are beleaguered. Yes. It's tougher for them. I mean, clearly their loyalty is unimpeachable. Right. And Hamas has obviously got their hands full with the Israelis. And also, I think they were never quite as closely aligned as Hezbollah.
It's interesting when you think about it. Because do you remember early on, Israel has been attacking Hezbollah for years. I mean, forever. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I know it's not forever in a literal sense, but in my recent memory, this has been going on even when they've come to deals and agreements, and Iran didn't get involved. I mean, yeah, they may give intelligence, they may give weapons, they may do that. But after Syria fell, and when Hezbollah was taking a massive hit, whether it was the pager, whether it was the bombings, whether it was the attacks, they would kill thousands. Iran didn't get involved. And if now the new norm is, okay, we've had this conflict, we've had this test of strength, and we were able to not just remain in power, but we were able to excel as a regional force. And now, because we were able to do that, Hezbollah, or let's say Lebanon, is now included under this kind of umbrella. That's interesting. That's new, right? The catch becomes, will that be, if they do come to some kind of terms of a deal, does that shake out in a deal? If so, that's fascinating. I guess my point is, this war, if nothing else, may have reshaped the power around the globe, but particularly in the Middle East. I think you pointed out yourself, those Gulf countries are now Iran's bitch in a way that wasn't true prior.
Yeah.
What does this look like going forward? And I don't know, but it looks like if Lebanon is included, this deal is off.
No, it's a big game changer. And by the way, if you're just joining us, this is the Q&A hour that we do every Monday and Wednesday at 12 noon, in addition to the regular show, which is Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Please put your questions in the live chat on YouTube and Rumble, and producer Robbie will get them to us and we'll get through them. Just one more thing before we start hitting the questions, because this is, we can't really skip the breaking news that's happening now of the Middle East because it's so big, but we do want to do the questions because that's why we're here for this hour. Did you notice, I posted in the chat right before we went on, the New York Times kind of confirmed this theory that producer Robbie had during this morning's show, where he said, China's playing an outsized role here, and that the reason that they agreed to reopen the strait and to agree to a ceasefire was at China's request. The New York Times is confirming that just now.
Interesting.
So
interesting. I mean, that's interesting on a few points, right? I mean, that would mean that is China asserting itself, if so. Mm-hmm. But keep in mind, though, China may have an outside influence, but Iran is going to work on what's in Iran's interests.
Totally.
So we'll see. But yeah, shout out to Robbie.
It was a request from China to please agree to the ceasefire. Of course, obviously, you need in this case 2.5 to tango because the Israelis are part of it too.
Right.
All right, shall we hit the questions?
Let's do it.
All right, let's. Bettina has a request, I think, for me and Robbie. Don't overwork Jamarl.
Don't overwork me? What does that mean? I'm fine. Trust me, I'm fine. I love this.
I think her concern, I was reading the chat before we went on, was that we're doing the two Q&A, the Q&A hours are relatively new, started next week. Maybe it's too much. You're just getting back. You have your own show.
Oh, I'm okay. I promise you I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah. And by the way, seriously, Jamarl, if the Q&A is, whatever, if any, we'll work things out,
Oh, dude, for me, this is easy. I enjoy this. So you're perfectly fine.
Okay. And like, if it's not, you have to let us know.
I'll let you know. I promise.
Okay. All right. So Sophia loves monkeys. Trump talking about going in and getting the uranium dust, quote unquote, really sealed it. Also, Pakistan is pulling up both sides whenever Iran is innocent.
Yes.
Do you think that was it? That was like what?
I think Pakistan plays both sides. Because if you remember early on, Pakistan was making a lot of noise in the 12-day war. Oh, we'll give Iran a nuke. We do this, we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Were they? I mean, Pakistan ended up signing a deal with Saudi Arabia almost as a nuclear defense shield. Like, I don't know where Pakistan falls on this, if I'm being bluntly honest.
Yeah, no, I think Pakistan is not really a power broker here. They're just a mediator. They're just hosting the talks. But I do think that. So I do wonder, like, how it was received in Tehran when Trump immediately goes on Truth Social and starts saying, like, we're going to go in and capture and steal the enriched uranium.
Oh, uranium, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way the Iranians agreed to that. And, look, the level of distrust is at 11 between these two parties. So, I can't tell. It's not like he could privately call up the Ayatollah and say, listen, I got to do some shit for my domestic concern here, but don't worry, you and I are good. And I'm just talking smack for my Truth Social MAGA crowd. He can't do that. So when he starts doing that, the Iranians see that and they're like, what the fuck?
Well, they murdered the Ayatollah.
Right.
So, there's that.
And that's the current Ayatollah's father. And he was in the room.
Yes.
When it happened. He was injured in the attack.
Yeah. So it's like, you can't call that guy up and say, hey, I know we're talking a lot of shit. And I know I murdered your dad. But, give me some grace. Yeah, you can't do that. That's not going to work.
Robbie's saying that we've got breaking news. Tehran is getting hit, that air defenses are active. Does that sound like it's the Israelis, the Americans? Do we have any sense?
Is there a difference?
No, I mean, what's the difference? I mean, they rent our military wherever they want it. Doesn't matter if there's the Star of Rim fan or an American flag on there. Yeah. But seriously, what difference does it make? We pay for it all anyway.
Well, not to mention they are allies in this.
Are they? Hold on. Israel's not an ally. Explain to me one thing that Israel has ever done for the benefit of the United States. This is a one-sided relationship where we are the battered spouse.
No, I don't buy that.
Oh, 100%. What has Israel done for us?
Because it allows us to project power into the Middle East in a way where we can say, it's not us, it's Israel. I mean, this is the whole pathway to Persia thing, right? Where it's like, well, we want to go after Iran, but we want Israel to take the blunt of the blame for going after Iran. The catch is, though.
But why would we be going after Iran? I mean, the smart play, if you want a regime change or have a meaningful change in Iran, would be to have full diplomatic relations, be trading, and have an exchange of culture. That's how you do it, not this.
But that's too much like right.
Well, the reason why we don't is because Israel says, no, you can't have that. Sit down, Yankee, go home. So
it's power issue.
We are Israel's bitch. Let's just call it what it is.
Oh, see, right. I don't think that's the case. I think it's the other way around.
Okay.
I mean, this is always an argument, right? Is it the dog wagging the tail or the tail wagging the dog?
Yeah.
Well, explain AIPAC to me. Why does every member of Congress have an AIPAC guy except for Thomas Massey?
Because Israel wants influence.
And you just made my point. Thank you.
No, Robbie.
I think it works both ways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's, look, I do think Israel is a client, but just because they're a client doesn't necessarily mean they don't have objectives of their own that may, let's say, depart in some respects from the US. And yeah, they want influence, especially when you're dealing with a country, like, I'll give you an example, the Gulf states. You have the population in the Gulf states that for the most part hate Israel and hate the fact that their governments are willing to work with Israel. But that doesn't mean that the leadership of those countries don't work with Israel. Now, you could say, if you are Israel and you're dealing with the United States and you know you have a large number of that population that hates what you're doing, regardless of the fact that you're paying for elected leaders, you want influence because you know that at the moment that something changes in the context of the country, your relationship with them can change. Like, meaning they're trying to buy influence.
I would agree with you, except for one thing. Marco Rubio himself said that I'm right. Whenever he said he got in this war because Israel was going to attack Iran anyway.
Yeah.
If Israel was our bitch, all it would take would be one phone call. Mr. Netanyahu, if you do this, we end all of your support. No more military aid, no more financial aid. You're done. We're going to turn your country off if you do this. That phone call never happened. Why? Because we have the Randy Fines and we have all these other people in Congress who are bought and wholly owned subsidiaries. And the most disgusting thing about it is that if we are a government made up of whores, we have got the cheapest whores on the planet. They own our government through bribery and corruption. That's what this is. I'm not saying that the Star Rim fans flying over the White House. What I'm saying is that they own Congress, and for better or for worse, they also own Trump. And I submit to you that whenever Trump went over there and he addressed the Knesset, and he asked Marilyn Adelson, "Are you more proud to be an Israeli or an American?" and she couldn't answer him.
Yeah,
that goes to show that those people don't give a single solitary tinker's damn about this country, and Trump knows it. And he is on his knees like a pathetic little bitch with a ball in his mouth, taking it.
Agreed.
Then
it's not that I disagree with you in regards to influence. I guess my catch is:
they own us.
Is it that the U.S. has interests in the Middle East, and that Israel accomplishes its objectives without the U.S. entirely putting their fingerprints on it? Meaning, it's one thing to say the U.S. basically wants to say, "Well, that's Israel doing that. That's not us." And you would even see it in the media. It's like Trump and Netanyahu gets into an argument. Okay, that's nonsense. They're not arguing at all. Israel always outs it. It was like, hey, we're on the same page. Because they're on the same page. Like the U.S. wants to have influence in the Middle East for various reasons. Initially, it used to be on the issue of oil. Probably still is the issue of oil. Do you, as the U.S., wants to get involved in all of these Middle Eastern conflicts, or do you want to have a proxy to do it? It's far easier to have a proxy. And it's easier to say, it's not us, it's them. When really, I think it's us.
But you
I don't think there's a huge difference between, there may be daylight between Israel and the U.S. on foreign policy, but it's not much. I could be wrong. Give me your thoughts, Ted. What do you think?
I mean, look, I think I think it's a marriage is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And so Israel is like is the spouse who kind of goes rogue sometimes and does stuff and throws a shit fit and says, if you don't do this, then I'm leaving you. And like, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. And then, the United States is just like, no. Okay. All right. I'll take you on vacation this time. We can go to Iran. We'll go together. You're right. And so it's kind of like everybody's sort of like, and then the guy's like goes back to his friends and he's like, my wife's a bitch, I mean, what can I do? And then meanwhile, the woman is like, he's like the main salary. He's the main wage earner. I can't leave him. I mean, he brings in all the money. He's the rainmaker. I mean, Here I am. I'm from the desert, there's just scrub here. I'm from nothing. I wouldn't even exist. He brought me up where like the Human League song. I was working as a waitress in a cocktail party, and he lifted me up where I belong. To mix pop culture metaphors. I think it's a shitty marriage, is what it is.
Yeah. Can you walk away from it? I mean, serious question, Ted.
And you should.
You should walk away from it. Agreed.
And I love your marriage analogy. And this is a serious question. And so far, I can't get anyone to give me an honest answer, or at least not one that's rational. What does the United States get out of it? Does the U.S. have interest in the Middle East? Yes. Those interests are economic, and stability is good for business. If we had a sane
instability is even
geopolitics-
better for business as far as the United States is concerned.
No,
so.
I disagree, and here's why. Because if the United States sees China, rightly so, as our major geopolitical competitor, then what you would want to do is have Iran solely in our sphere of influence. The same with Russia. You do that through trade and commerce. You don't do it by starting wars with them.
But Robbie, I agree with you. If I were the president of the United States, that would be my approach, and I think all three of us would rule that way.
Of course.
But that's not how this regime rules. I'll send you. I'm going to find you this Stratfor country report about the U.S., where it talks about how in the post-war era, the United States foreign policy has been oriented toward destabilization. Right. And that's why it doesn't matter that we don't win any of our wars anymore, because basically we're making money on the military, because so much of our economy is based on the military industrial complex. The more instability there is, the more arms we can sell, often to both sides. We can, and also we're trying to disrupt. We don't want like calm, steady. China wants stability. They want steady as she goes. Our ships go wherever we want. We're all making money. The United States doesn't think it can compete with countries like China and Iran and the United EU and all those things as trading blocks. They think so. Therefore, if you can't join them, beat them, break them, like put a spoke between their wheels. That's what the U.S. is about. And if you understand that, if you read the Stratfor report, you'll be like, oh, I can see clearly now. I really think that's what's going on here. Like they're not like we would be better off. The world would be better off. The U.S. would make more money if we did it your way, Robbie. They don't do it your way.
No, I have a question for y'all, and this is something I've been thinking about. And Ted, you know this. We talked about this on TMI yesterday. I was really upset. I'm really upset by what Trump said. I think that the United States is functioning kind of like a crusader state.
Yes.
There is no rationality here. It's all about ideology. And not necessarily. And the Crusades is about religion. It was revenge for the Muslims conquering North Africa, marching on Constantinople, marching up to Rome. I mean, it was a backlash. It just coming out of nowhere. What's going on here, I think, is an ideological crusader state where we think that every nation has to be representative Western-style democracy, and if you're not, then you're our enemy.
It's empire.
That's part of the equation.
Yeah, and by the way, if you think of what they did to Syria, think of what they did to South America, where they have kill squads. Think of the plan that Netanyahu put out, where he was like, "Well, we're going to destabilize Iran by using the Kurds and giving them weapons and blah blah blah." All of these things are issues of destabilization. Think of Africa, like if you get into the Sahel states and France putting in like terrorists in order to destabilize the countries. They don't want those countries to be whole and stable. Yeah. I mean, in fact, I'll go further. Part of the rationale for having Israel there is that you don't have a collected or united Middle East.
Yes.
These are tools of destabilization.
We're heirs of the British Empire here and of colonialism in general. And if you look at, like, for example, at the Treaty of Versailles, right, when they partitioned the Ottoman Empire, they drew the maps in order to divide, to turn Iraq into a divided state between Sunni and Shia. And moreover, they repeatedly had a 60-40 model in places like Rwanda, where they had like fake ethnicities. Hutus and Tutsis didn't even really exist as far as Rwandans were concerned. But the colonial authorities came in and said, oh, if your nose looks like this and your mouth looks like that, then you're a Hutu. And if not, you're a Tutsi. And then they chose deliberately the minority group as the dominant group. So basically it was like a divide and conquer strategy. Stalin did the same thing in the Central Asian republics. He created Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan is 60% Uzbek, 40% Tajik. Tajikistan is the other way around, 60% Tajik, 40% Uzbek. So it's always hard to govern those countries. And his whole thought was, well, none of these fuckers, if they ever get their shit together, will ever be able to get their shit together enough to fuck with me, the Russian dominant state, right? I mean, this is about destabilization. We have questions that we should take. I could do this all day, but and maybe we will. Manchild, thanks for the donation. Is Batman a superhero or just a billionaire with a weird hobby and a questionable grip on local law enforcement? Also, what do you like to do for fun, Jamarl?
I think Batman's a pedophile, personally.
Robin? He's got an unhealthy relationship with Robin?
Yeah, isn't it weird? Like, how am I the only one who points that out, right? Like, he is getting kids, dressing them up in these kind of weird costumes and calling a child Robin.
Like, you're my little bird.
Yeah, that's a little strange. That's not just me. Like, is it just me? Like, it looks a little weird.
And he doesn't, and he's never interested in tapping Batgirl's ass. You ever notice that?
Very rarely.
I mean, Batwoman,
he knocked off.
Batwoman.
But she might be a beard.
Yeah, I think that's the situation there. That's a great question. Okay, Cooper says, I love it, Jamarl. Stay in the sun. Sunlight looks good on you, Jamarl. None remaining, says Martina. Says, I like the sun too. So, okay, well, that's 3 people. Voting pro, they're on team Sun. Moonchild, thanks for the donation. Why are no countries sanctioning Israel for their multiple war crimes and ongoing aggressions? Where's the rest of the world here? Well, some are.
Yeah, but the others are scared of the U.S. I mean, because UN General Assembly could have acted. They could have acted.
Well, there would have been a U.S. veto.
No, that's the UN Security Council.
Oh, right.
But there are provisions in the UN General Assembly that can override that the UN Security Council, if they indeed need to actually take action for something that's taking place in the Security Council, is behaving in the way the Security Council behaves. I mean, because let's be honest, the UN Security Council is pointless. Unless all of these countries agree, nothing takes place. So you can have hundreds of thousands of people get slaughtered and starved to death. Everybody accepts 90%. This is a crime, and nothing happens.
Countries could individually impose sanctions. I mean, by the way, I'm just for the record, even though it's fucking Israel, I think sanctions are bad. They just affect ordinary people. But that said, sanctions do exist and people do impose them.
Right.
I mean, individual certainly. I mean, there's no, like Turkey's imposed sanctions on Israel. Israel's not a major trading partner really with a lot of countries. I mean, they have a tech base. That's about it.
But I think people are talking about supplies going to Israel. For example, China still trades with Israel. In fact, they get the majority of their equipment from Israel. It depends. If you're looking at the European Union as one entity, then the European Union trades more. If you're looking at the European Union as individual states, then China trades more. And by trade, I just mean supplies going into Israel that they can use to build all the stuff. I mean, the catch becomes, okay, well, why is Russia, China, all of these places continuing to trade with Israel? And even though Turkey is like, okay, we're passing sanctions, they were still giving them oil and energy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think about that? I mean, do you think that there's a responsibility? Because fact of the matter is Israel is breaking international law. And all of those countries that are part of the United Nations have taken an oath to uphold that international order, which means that the fact that Israel is breaking the law and they're turning a blind eye is a bit problematic.
Israel is it's literally the most dangerous country on the planet right now. I mean, literally in the last 2 years, this is a country that has attacked It's attacked the occupied territories multiple times, Syria, Lebanon, Iran. Who am I leaving out? They've caused a reaction that has brought in the Gulf states. And I mean, basically they've turned it into a conflagration, and they have about 100 unreported illegal nuclear weapons, possibly with ICBMs and the ability to fire them as far as China. That's a dangerous fucking country. And, they behave recklessly. It's an ethno state. It's racist as shit. It's like, these are, there's no meaningful opposition movement within the country at all to any of these policies. So even domestically, when there was opposition to the war, nobody was even talking about the rights of the Palestinians. They were just concerned about getting their hostages back. That's what passes for the left in Israel today. It didn't used to be like that, but it is now. So Israel's very dangerous, and it should be reined in. Honestly, the international community created Israel, and they should decreate it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, they've lost the right to exist. When they raped that guy in prison, and they put it, I think it was like Channel 4, one of the channels, and they were like, what is the percentage of people who think this is okay? It was like 60, 70% thought it was okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah, they're fucked up. They're very fucked up people. So, Waterways, thanks for the $5. Good morning again. I'm unable to hear your reply, but we'll catch up after work. Okay, good. Thank you. Last week, there was a story about Spear, the assassins in the UAE. Will you cover this in a DeProgram episode? Yeah, I don't know if you followed that, but we can.
What's Spear?
So it's a really crazy fucking story, but basically there's this Israeli-American dude who is being sued in a very credible lawsuit. The big article was in the New York Post of all places. And basically it is being alleged, and I think it's very well documented, that this mercenary group was under contract with the Emirati government to murder political opponents of the regime to the tune of $1.5 million per assassination. They blew up a building trying to kill someone. It's really fucking out of hand. So yeah, let's talk about it. Look it up, and I'll send you the article. No, it's a fucking great article. I wanted to talk to the late departed John Kiriakou about this, but we didn't have enough time to. But yeah, let's get into it because it's a really interesting story.
Wow.
Jack Samuels, thanks for the $4.99. If conflict escalates, could Iran leverage al-Qaeda leaders in Tehran to enable or expand attacks on Western interests globally and abroad as a proxy? Well, first of all, Iran is an enemy of al-Qaeda. Iran has no alliance whatsoever. They took in some al-Qaeda fighters at one point, but I think it would be very beyond unrealistic to think that Iran would ever, work or with al-Qaeda in any kind of meaningful way as a proxy.
Well, that terrorist leader came to the United States and gave Donald Trump a handshake. Trump said he's a good-looking guy and all this other stuff. I mean, keep in mind, when we're talking about like terrorist groups, oftentimes those things are pushed by the West.
Oh, sure.
I mean, if you notice, it's not like al-Qaeda attacks Israel. Or it's not like those animals in Syria that the U.S., Turkey, and all these guys were backing attacks Israel. I mean, if anything, Israel was working with those guys.
And speaking of divide and conquer, right? Hamas is a creature of Israel. They received billions of euros in cash with a B from the Netanyahu government. Look it up if you don't believe me, because they thought Hamas was the more moderate version of Islamism that would be accepted by the Gazan population. They thought they could control it. So insane. Waterways, thanks for the $5. How else could we support DeProgram? I almost want to start a bake sale or something. Thank you for that question. Well, there's literally nothing better than money. I mean, my mom I'm quoting my mom. My mom used to always be like, well, what do you want for your birthday? I know, I'll send you cash. You always need money. You can get what you want. So without a doubt, if you can afford it, a cash donation here on Rumble or on YouTube as a super chat, it's the best thing you can do. But honestly, you can also spread the word. Mention us on other podcasts. Maybe suggest to other podcasts that Jamarl and or myself get invited to join them and talk to them. Go on your socials and talk about the show. Anything else, Jamarl? I'm forgetting.
Bake sale's not bad.
I like baked goods. Robbie, anything else that people can do to support the show?
Yeah, so there's a few different things. One, if you are on Rumble, if you become a channel subscriber, and Jamarl, this would be good for you because be good for you to know since you're going to come over here to Rumble too.
Yep.
The creator keeps 100% of that donation. Rumble does not take a cut. On YouTube, if you become a channel subscriber, YouTube takes 40%, if my memory is correct, of whatever that monthly donation is. And then the creator gets 60%. With Rumble, you keep 100% of it. Also, and this is not hyperbole, the way that they pay is different. So YouTube pays based off of those ads that you see at the beginning of the stream, and also during it and then at the end. YouTube or Rumble, because we're in the creator program, Rumble pays us based off of our watch hours. So the breakdown of it is basically for every 4 cents that YouTube pays, Rumble pays 92 cents on the dollar, because the business models are completely different. And so one of the best ways that you can help, honestly, is by watching the shows on Rumble, because it just simply physically pays more. And so donations are way down. John's gone. I mean, a lot of people have questions for him about, how things went. I suspended Robbie Aid because I can't, in good conscience, take a donation whenever JT and Ted are just left out. I'm not going to do that. So honestly, the best way that you can support the show right now, while we're kind of going through rebuilding, become a channel subscriber here on Rumble, and frankly, watch the shows here on Rumble. It pays more.
Thank you very much, Robbie. And just for people who want to donate by PayPal, in case for whatever reason that's what you'd like to do, there's our email address. You can also email us at that number, at that address. I read those emails eventually, not always in a timely manner, so I apologize for that. But that's our PayPal, and we'll leave that up. Okay, so question. From none remaining. Since when have legislators been the people in charge of the United States? Well, weren't they always supposed to be? I mean, they kind of aren't anymore. I mean, we went through a period where the judiciary was super important. I would say that ended about 15 years ago. I think Bush v. Gore kind of brought that era to an end. Now we have, the unitary executive is real. Like that's where we're at now.
Doesn't have to be, though. I mean, it's almost like an abdication of responsibility in many terms. I mean, the U.S. is so weird, because it's not like there's one independent power center. I mean, you have wealth that allows influence. You have foreign influence, especially if we're talking about Israeli lobby, like Robbie was talking about. You have lobbies that get in, but you're right. From the standpoint of wars, you have this executive with Congress just entirely and completely abdicating all responsibility to hold the president accountable. I mean, a case for the 25th Amendment could have been legitimately made in this case.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. I mean, the president has gone rogue. Put shit in context.
Yeah, I mean, literally, under the Constitution is clear. Only the Congress can authorize by a vote something like what the president is currently involved in against Iran. Right. And the thing is, over time, those powers got abdicated by Congress, and it got to the point where it was like the Gang of Eight, who are these influential congressmen and senators who'd be brought in and briefed as representatives of Congress. Like, hey, we're just letting you know what we're up to, who we're killing, who we're bombing. Trump didn't even do the Gang of Eight thing.
He just did it. It was like, hey, if we don't call it a war, we don't have to do so-and-so. But this is kind of like the enhanced interrogation. It's like, yeah, I'm going to torture this guy, but I'm not going to call it torture. So it's not torture. It's like, okay. Like
Waterway. Sorry.
It doesn't work. Like this shit just doesn't work. Like the way this is, it's like you craft a system and you come up with all these great ideas on how the system is supposed to work and everything else. And at the end of the day, you're still stuck with this idea that you need people to care. Or at the very least, you need people to effectively do the jobs that was set up for them to do in the context of that system. That's not what we have.
No.
It's just not what we have. I mean, even from the standpoint of international order, it's just not what we have.
So let's see. Why is this? Okay, there we go. Oh my God, my computer really is getting slow. Waterways, thanks for the $5. I'm thankful that Jamarl joined DeProgram. His poise makes things feel cool, calm, and collected. What? Am I a spaz? Don't answer that. Thank you, Ted and Robbie, too, for all that you pour into DeProgram.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
F you so. Thanks for the $1. Wolf Blitzer. If we end the wars, what about the jobs? You know, I have.
Yeah. Did he say that? Did Wolf Blitzer say that?
I don't know if Wolf Blitzer said that, but
I wouldn't be shocked if he did. By the way,
he's funny.
He's like, hey, if you stop killing people, people are going to run out of jobs, man. Who's going to make those weapons?
Yeah, you know, there's been a look at the look at the Brits, right? They thought they couldn't possibly live without colonialism. I mean, that was like the Tory government line for a century. Obviously, they live without colonialism now, and or at least or a shadow of what it used to be. If you want to think the Commonwealth is colonial, so they live right. So and then, people have gone back and analyzed the economics of colonialism, and the truth is that even setting aside all the human tragedy and damage, it was a bad deal for the British government, maintaining those supply lines, maintaining military security, on the other side of the planet, sending people to Australia, India. It wasn't worth it, even for all the extraction that occurred in terms of natural resources and labor. It was a net negative for the British Empire. And I suspect strongly that if you slashed American military spending by 95%, you would end up very quickly with all that ingenuity, all that science, all that economic investment being redirected into tech, green energy, manufacturing, maybe even the arts, right? Who knows?
Yeah. Agreed. No, I agree with everything you just said. I mean, because the reality of it is, it's like, dude, we're spending like $1 trillion a year. And this is a country without
1.5 trillion is what Trump just put in for the military.
Jesus. I mean, it's like, that's mind blowing. And you think it's like, okay, we're already $37 trillion in debt, crumbling roads, no health care, an education system that sucks.
Our rail system blows.
Yeah, in comparison to the rest of the world. And you look at China and you look at some of the stuff that they're doing industrially, and you're like, oh my God. Now, China would say, hey, man, we're not fighting wars. We can afford to spend money on this. Or we're not shoveling money to oligarchs in the way that you guys are shoveling money to oligarchs, even though China has its own wealth disparity issue. It's mind blowing. And look, if January 6th happened and it was about healthcare, education, roads, investment into the country, et cetera, I would be less resistant. I put it that way.
Oh, yeah, no.
I'd be less
totally.
resistant.
F you so. My problem, thanks for the donation. My problem with Star Trek is while the humans are banging the hot aliens, but in real life, the aliens are anal probing the humans.
What? They're not anal probing people in Star Trek? Not really.
No, in real life. In real life.
Oh, in real life. I mean, sometimes you got to find stuff, man. Do you remember during COVID, China, that was one of the Chinese airports that was giving people anal probes when they were coming from America?
Wait, what?
So, because they were saying effectively, the Chinese guy effectively said, hey, man, sometimes COVID hides in the colon. And we need to, America has.
We have to go up your ass.
Yeah, they have to go up people's ass. And the people were like, this is outrageous. This is outrageous. Yeah, that shit was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
That's I had a friend who he's Jewish, works at the New York Times, and he went to Israel, worked on a kibbutz, right? So super Jew.
Yeah.
And he was like picking dates. He said it sucked. You have to climb these tall trees, and the dates are covered with bees and wasps, and they fucking sting your ass. He said it blew. Anyway, flies out of Ben Gurion Airport, and he gets stopped by the Mossad security assholes.
Oh, jeez.
And they made him sick. They were like, drop trow. We got to get up there and do an anal cavity search.
What?
And I was like, you're a U.S. citizen. And he goes, what's I supposed to do? I'm like, I would have been like, I'm an American citizen. Call my fucking embassy. I'm not doing this. And he said, well, I would have missed my flight. I'm like, miss your flight, So
they got in his ass.
Pardon?
Literally.
Yeah, so they climbed. Yeah, so he succumbed, and they fingered his asshole to see if he was hiding anything up there.
In asses. I mean, whether it's like rape or whether it's doing shit like that. I mean, like, that is outrageous. And the sad part about it is the moment that you say no, they're going to say, well, he's obviously holding something in his ass because he doesn't want us to get in the
And I'd be like, okay, but I'm still saying no. Like you're gonna have to hurt me to do this. Like, I'm not just spreading.
Yeah. I know, right? At least having the dignity of resistance, right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna come out of this with maybe some broken teeth, like that Asian dentist on the flight that he got kicked off of. Like, I love the fact that he was a dentist. At least he could put his own teeth back in. Boring adventure videos. Thanks for the $5. Just got here, but did you hear about how much Western oil infrastructure was destroyed right before the ceasefire?
Yeah.
Yes, like the Saudi pipeline.
Yeah.
So
that's the wild part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like the Saudis had one way of getting oil without the Strait of Hormuz, and somebody blew it up.
Oh God, I'm so glad about this, Jamarl. I love this question because I've been dying to talk about it. And Frank, you have brought it up. Thanks for the $5. How do we remove the occultist cannibals ruling the West? I got to put Robbie in for this one. You know what this question's about.
Occultist cannibals.
Mm-hmm. So it's about the Epstein stuff. It's
it's Epstein stuff. No,
right. The whole idea that like they were worshiping Baal, they were eating babies, and all this stuff. And the Iranians have been using this as a meme in their Lego videos with the Baal stuff. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. So JT, you go first, then I'll go. I'm interested to hear what you got to say.
How do we get rid of them?
Yeah. How do you get rid of them? I'd just shoot them, but I mean, you're more sophisticated than I am.
There's that, but I think it's mechanical. I think, look, from my point of view, systems go until they can't. And, like there's a reckoning that's taking place. Like all of this stuff is occurring in coal mine. I don't want to take away agency because like the little things that people do over the course of time are the things that ultimately change a particular system. But
wait, Jamarl, I got to interrupt you. So do you believe this? Before we talk solution, we got to first agree there's a problem. Do you think this really happened or is happening?
I am very skeptical that they are worshiping Baal, but I'm not in the room. Like I don't think people are eating babies. I put it that way. I'm very skeptical that people are eating babies.
Yeah, are there anyone missing any babies? Like, shit, I had 3 kids. I forgot. Now I only have 2.
One missing. Yeah, there's one missing.
That's right.
Things about aliens, right? The aliens out there eating babies. I'm skeptical about the eating babies. I'm skeptical about worshiping Baal. I don't think you need to worship Baal. You can worship Prophet and end up in the same situation. Just act with impunity. Are they raping kids? Probably, yeah. I mean, that
seems well established. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Congress is throwing their body over Epstein to protect the people that are on that list and the people that are surrounding them. And all of these people are people with means. Mm-hmm. If you have the ability to own an island and you can bring all of these women and this stuff goes on for God knows how long, yeah, I believe they are raping kids. But the Baal thing seems a bit outrageous.
As well, of course, and there's the temple or whatever, that outbuilding on Epstein Island that has precipitated this belief.
Yeah, big shout out to Spec 421. Thank you for becoming our newest monthly subscriber here on Rumble.
Thank you.
So welcome. As for me, I think that I think they're telling the truth. I mean, and here's why. Here's why it's easier for me as a man of faith to believe it than it is for 2 rationalists like y'all. It's because the 2 of y'all see things in a very scientific, very rational way where there's really no real room for a metaphysical influence or a demon or a demonic influence because, well, you don't believe in it, to be totally honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm a fundamentalist Christian, and all through human history, human sacrifice has been a thing. Worshiping devils and demons has been a thing, and that's one of the cornerstones of Christianity. Is talking about how we are in a spiritual war. That's a theme that's in the Old and the New Testaments, and that's one of the things that has been a recurring theme throughout all of human history is child sacrifice. And so, yeah, I do believe that has happened. And if it wasn't happening, why would they write about it in private emails that they've never expected to come to light? And
what exactly did they say in these emails?
So I had the misfortune of reading them, and it really made me sick to my stomach. I'm a guy who likes to go hunt and gut animals and cook them for food, so I'm not a squeamish person.
Yeah.
I mean, they were talking about how they would cook and they would eat dead babies. And the way they were describing it is how that's how you'd process food. There was something there. I don't think that they got what they did off of watching some YouTube video about some dude in Montana, hunting an elk. These people are sick and they're evil.
So I want to be clear. So you do believe
100%
that this was a satanic cult?
Yes,
in whole or in part.
Very much so. And it's a cabal, and I believe that it controls our government.
I mean, satanic cults do exist. Whether Satan exists or not is highly debatable, obviously. Yeah. But the for example, there's that amazing. Do you guys know about this book by Terry Morey called The Ultimate Evil? So Terry Morey was a journalist at New York Newsday, which was one of the big daily newspapers in New York in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And he wrote this book that is kind of quasi-banned in the U.S. And he reported quite credibly that there was a sort of satanic cult of playboy, millionaire, asshole, bored, druggy degenerates who basically tie together Son of Sam, all sorts of ritual sacrifices and abductions, the missing persons who were kidnapped and raped and killed in the 80s. And it goes all the way back to the Sharon Tate murders, the Helter Skelter murders. And then also this in Stanford University in the chapel, there was a woman who was viciously murdered and sacrificed in a human disemboweled, where her intestines were strung from the chandeliers and stuff. Anyway, this is all kind of tied in, and he argues that for basically 30 years, these people like David Berkowitz was Son of Sam, were like low-level soldiers kind of carrying out these acts. It's very well sourced. I personally do believe it. And there's a Netflix, I think it's a Netflix limited series documentary about Terry Morey, about how when he went down this rabbit hole, like a lot of researchers, like the lady with the Golden State Killer, Iris Chang, I think it's Iris Chang, right? Who did the rape of Nanjing. Yeah. He lost his mind and basically ended up at the bottom of a bottle and died prematurely because of this. So I mean, I'm just saying these things are not impossible. Is all I'm trying to say.
Oh, I don't think it's impossible. Like I said, it's there's no way for me to know. I'm not in the room, right? And conspiracy theories do exist, if that makes sense. Like conspiracies do exist. So I don't know.
But here's the craziest thing, though. What you're saying about conspiracy theories is completely correct. And like every other conspiracy theory, like this one or JFK or everything else, all you had to do, the only thing you have to do to kill the conspiracy theory is tell the truth. Just release it.
Oh, by the way, Robbie, I don't mean, I'm saying that poorly. I'm saying conspiracies do exist, meaning some conspiracy theories
are true. By the way,
true.
Breaking news, the AP is now confirming everything that Robbie's been filling us in on. Iran, he's closed the Strait of Hormuz in response to Israeli attacks on Lebanon, according to state media.
Good.
Yep. And Israel's also demanded that the Lebanese army evacuate the land bridge connecting Lebanon with the city of Tyre.
Not going to happen.
No. So Israel,
especially not now.
No,
Israel wants to annex Lebanon, southern Lebanon, up to the Litani and maybe past the Litani River. Yeah, that's been their whole Greater Israel scheme. Okay, so
that makes sense until now.
Okay, so the question is, why Baal? Okay, I mean, you're the religious person here, Robbie. I mean, there's lots of other gods to choose from. Why him?
Well, there's a couple different. Well,
Baal is a fertility. He's a Canaanite fertility god.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that probably what it is. It's if you want power, you want stuff like that, then what you would do is that you would go towards Baal. Baal was also the god of the Philistines. Like when the Israelites famously had the Ark of the Covenant taken, the statue, the Ark was actually put at the feet of another god called Dagon, and God kept breaking the statue, so they decided we're going to give this back because the plagues get too much. I think really probably what it is, it comes down to the two wings of the people who are running the government. You have one faction who just wants economic power and control. That's why you go with Baal. You want to have a multiplication of your wealth. You want to have a multiplication of your power. Whereas then you have other people like Lindsey Graham, who would really be more in the camp of Moloch. Moloch was the god that the Israelites would sacrifice their babies to by burning them alive. Like they would heat the statue up so it was red hot, and they would beat drums to beat out the screams, and they would put these babies on these statues. It's called passing through the fire. That's what abortion is. So if you're an abortionist, Moloch is your guy. If you worship death, Moloch is the god for you. But if you're just a greedy bastard who just wants more and more money and wants more and more political control, Baal is a better fit for you. It depends on what kind of sadistic, evil bastard you are.
But don't those sadistic, evil bastards overlap? Like Lindsey Graham, for example, making a shitload of money from the Ukraine war.
Mm-hmm.
By the same token, Lindsey Graham is also the guy who's perfectly fine with people being killed in those wars.
Yeah, very
like,
much
doesn't
so.
it overlap?
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, there's overlap. I mean, so it's not like a pantheon like the ancient Greek gods, where you like had Zeus as the god of fire, and then you had Athena as the goddess of wisdom. So I mean, no, there's a lot of overlap, and the Bible actually teaches that these are actually demons, and so they're real beings. They exist, and so I think what it is just which of these demons is going to give you the better deal. That's really if it's transactional. And it just depends on what it is that you want. If you want ultimate power, there's no greater power for a human to have than to kill somebody else. Because we can't create life, but we can sure as hell kill. So if that's what gets you off, then yeah, if you're able to make
the ultimate act of domination, literally.
And if you're able to make money off of it, so much the better.
Only 4 minutes left, so I want to make sure we get to at least all the super chats. Stitzko 956, thanks for the $5. What are your thoughts on electric vehicles with the current oil crisis? I'm looking for a new car and wanted to know if you guys would consider one. Do you think Tesla will ever come close to BYD? BYD is that Chinese buy your dream car, which is highly, very well reviewed, and unfortunately they're not available in the U.S. I bought my first hybrid car was a 2004. I bought it new at the time, the only car I ever bought new. I loved it. Even though it had like no power, which is not a Ted Rall thing. I like, when I breathe on the gas pedal, I want things to happen.
Right.
But still, with high energy prices back in 2005, 2006, I was like, the gas station is for other people, not for me. I'm just cruising by, so I used to get an 11 gallon tank was good for like 600 miles. Loved it. So I would totally do an electric car. The problem is that there's, for me, it's the charging issue. I mean, not only do I not want to stop and charge for 20 or 30 minutes, I just don't. And I don't want to have to think about and plan it out. I think that when the infrastructure is more widespread, charging is fast, that'll be very different. Yeah. I know there's superchargers and all that, but I'm definitely very open to them. I think there's problems in terms of how expensive they are. I wish the government would provide tax breaks the way that they used to. But they're too expensive. It's a luxury item. So
and they don't work well in cold climates.
That too.
Yeah. And the battery goes down to 50% very shortly. I used to work for a car company.
I'd be worried about being stranded somewhere too.
There's that too. I mean, I used to do software. I was a software engineer for like a decade. And one of the companies that I used to work for was a car. Oh God, they did like car parts and stuff like that. And I remember one of the guys was kind of giving this breakdown of, he was like, dude, within a very short period of time, that battery goes from 100% to 50% in regards to its ability to maintain a charge. Like there are a few issues with it, but I'm open to it. It's just,
I think it's just new technology that, basically it's kind of like buying, a Model T in, 1920, and you're kind of like, it's not there yet, but it's very promising.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so another one. Thanks so much for Spec, our monthly supporter. Thanks for the $10. I learned about TED from listening to JT on Sputnik. Now that both of you have a show. The circle is now complete, and Robbie is proper frustration I never knew I needed. What a great phrase. I will use that. That's
proper frustration.
That's even better than, it's as good as good trouble, the John Lewis line. Good trouble. I never knew I needed. Keep kicking ass. Proper frustration.
I love that one. Proper frustration.
Everyone should have some proper frustration in their life. Yeah.
I frustrate my wife all the time. So
you're supposed to, that's against your marital covenant. No, you're supposed to be satisfying her.
I take care of that. Don't you worry. She's a very happy black lady. So
it's good.
All is well there.
Yeah, like don't make us white guys look bad. And Roguebot, nobody's even talking about Artemis. We just went to the friggin' moon.
To the goddamn moon.
We went moon adjacent. We did not go to the fucking moon. We went to the neighborhood of the fucking moon. It's not the same.
They didn't land, right? I thought they were just like going to the dark side.
Yeah, when you say you're going, like if I say I'm going to Canada, does it count if I just sort of fly by it and on my way somewhere else? I'm like,
no, you got to land. You got to go to the goddamn moon if you're going to go to the goddamn moon.
You can't. I mean, you can say like we're moon adjacent, or we're setting. They say they're setting the stage for
a base.
It's like if I go to Eureka, I'm literally a quarter of a mile away from the Canadian border, so I'm Canadian adjacent, but I'm not
highly
across
adjacent.
the border.
Yeah, but you're not in Canada.
I don't have a passport. I need to get one.
At some point, they need to have a base on the moon. In fact, I can't, like, as opposed to putting $1 trillion in the military, I would rather than put that shit into science and technology.
But the guys
just built a nuclear reactor. There's that.
Well, I was going to say the Artemis question is still it is worth noting that we're not talking about this. Nobody cares.
Well, it's not important. Okay, we spent billions of dollars to go look at a rock. Think about that for a second. Yeah, it's cool. It's up there in space. It's kind of spinning around, doing its own thing.
And we were there 50 years ago.
I mean, no, meanwhile, we have got tens of thousands of Americans living under bridges. We have people who can't afford health care. We have people who are going hungry. We are actively supporting some pissant little pathetic country that's the size of New Jersey, waging a major war. Who the hell cares about a stupid rock in space? I do not.
But it's not just the rock in space. It's the NASA missions that were going up had to create all of this different types of, look, two things are true. A, we shouldn't be putting all that money into Israel. Those are billions of dollars that we could basically use for housing.
Or NATO. Listen, I would fully support NATO. Listen, I would be all in on NASA, 100%. If we pull out NATO, close all of our bases, come home, secure the borders, and put the American people first, 100%. That surplus money going to NASA, let's go to Mars. No problem with it at all. But until we do that, then no.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think so. I mean, again, two things are true, right? I agree with everything that you just put out, but that doesn't stop us from going to the moon or going to Mars. Meaning that level of scientific innovation and scientific advancement, that level of building technology to do X or building technology to do Y, miniaturizing that technology, that stuff has effects on us. Like and there are two things. One, this ability for people to see beyond their current situation. There's that. Meaning this idea of hope, this idea of frontiers. There's that. The other part of it is technological innovation that's required in order to do those things. Meaning, I have a problem. I need to be able to solve that problem with a technological fix. That technological fix also has benefits and bonuses here on Earth. Meaning, I think your scientific innovation runs in dovetail with your things that you're attempting to do. When John F. Kennedy said we're going to the goddamn moon, And he says, why do people, climb Mount Everest? Why do people do this? And it's like, because it's there. It's part of the human condition. And so, yeah, I do believe we should push our frontiers.
No, I agree with that.
I think it should be, but I don't think it should be, space should be privatized. And I think space exploration should be an international consortium of all the rich countries that can afford it, all kicking it, working together.
Agree. I hate the idea of SpaceX. I hate it. Because keep in mind, all the Star Trek shit on the background, that's not just, like they didn't go into space as we're going as private things. We're going to have a
this is more like Aliens with the corporations and the mining corporations.
Or the Expanse.
So I have a question for y'all, because y'all are the Trekkies here. Like I watched the old one, Next Generation. I thought it was kind of gay. Deep Space Nine.
I love Next Generation, although the first year is
Captain Kirk would have beat Picard's ass like every day of the week. Probably. Especially in a ship-on-ship match on. Who do you think is going to win, Kirk or Picard?
You mean ship on ship?
Enterprise.
Like, no. Picard's ship would win. Picard. Keep in mind, these are different eras.
That's right.
No, I'm talking about the same ship. I'm talking about just a head-on battle between the two. There's a straight-on
equal technology.
Which one was the better tactician? Because
I'm going to say Kirk was quirkier and unpredictable.
Yeah, but he also is a lot more belligerent. So that factors into it.
Those are different eras. Like it's almost like asking who will win in a fight, somebody today or somebody in Next Generation. Okay, well, Next Generation, they're on like they're on like a flying casino.
Yeah,
like they solve much of Earth's problems. They've
it's like the question about like who's the greatest football player of all time, right? And it's like, well, is it Jim Thorpe? And probably it's Jim Thorpe because he had shit equipment, right? Like he would be better than Tom Brady because he didn't have Tom Brady's equipment.
Yeah, well, it'd be like asking who should be the better admiral, Admiral Nelson or Admiral Halsey. You can't answer that question because the technology is so diverse. I'm talking about just from a tactical standpoint. But here's my question for y'all though: what kind of economy and government did the Federation have? Like, was it a communist? But was it what you advocate for, a truly communist government?
It was.
Or was it something else?
It was because they had an international federation and each planet was ruled individually. But in the federation, right, there's no money. Money doesn't exist.
They had credits. They had money.
Wait. That's a little bit more complicated.
Not in the original series.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Sparta.
In the original series, there's no money.
In the original series, there is money.
When?
They phase it out over time. Like by the time you get to Next Generation, they go with the no money stuff.
Not to mention they have what are those things called? Those not material.
It's an energy-based economy.
But they have a thing. What's that machine that makes things like you can
replicator?
They have replicators that can generate from thin air like anything they want.
Not anything though. More complicated things they have to build. Like starships. They can't just build a starship out of a replicator.
But it's basically a socialist society.
Okay, who the hell is Jonathan Archer? Roguebot just said Jonathan Archer would kick both of their asses. I don't know who that is.
Bullshit.
Who's Jonathan Archer?
Who is he?
So you remember? So you have Next Generation. You have the original series with Captain Kirk, and then you have a prequel called Enterprise, and that's with Jonathan Archer. Jonathan Archer had a warp ship that could only go warp 4. God,
I hate that show.
It got good during the Xindi War, though.
It did have that. It did have that hot chick.
T'Pol. Yeah. No, during the Xindi War arc, it was good. Because at that point, it was like
I never got past like the first 5 episodes.
Trust me, the Xindi War thing is good.
Okay.
Because it became a serial show where it was a series, and it was like basically Earth was attacked. They murdered like millions of people, and Earth only had like 2 ships. And you had the Vulcans who were kind of, wishy-washy.
So, Jamarl, would you agree it was a socialist society or not?
That's complicated.
I would think so.
All basic needs are provided for, right?
Well, I would think so because the whole reason why you have a wage is because you're exchanging your time from your life that you never get back in exchange for a unit of value for the time that you're giving. If there's no more labor, then you don't need money because at that point, what are you exchanging your time for? Nothing.
But
So-
you need goods and services. But they
Guys,
energy.
I hate to do this.
Oh, we got to close it.
You
We
can't pull the
do
plug-
because
you can't pull the plug down.
I can't be late for lunch with Trent. I'm meeting him at 1:30.
What the heck? Listen, Trent can freaking wait. Okay, this is more important.
Trent's probably
We're talking
listening
about
right
Star Trek,
now.
man. You done
And
ended
he's
up on
going to
some
know
Star
that,
Trek
that it was. I'll blame you, Robbie.
JT, you need to let me be your guest on your show one day because I want to pick your brain about this.
Oh, but the Star Trek stuff? I do think,
all
I mean,
this stuff.
look, it is, all things being equal, from our point of view, it's a socialist economy, but it's not a social economy the way we think about it. They have fundamentally transformed how things are built, how things are made, meaning it's not like, okay, we're going to have a communist country in the context of this with wages, money lacking and everything. It's a different world. So, yes.
Okay, breaking news. The United States is currently conducting airstrikes against Tehran with Israel. So the war is back on, boys and girls.
Yeah. So fuck that ceasefire.
That's good news for Iran.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bad news for Donald Trump.
All right, Ted.
Back to better be giving some babies to Baal. Maybe he'll help you out. All right.
Does that mean that the civilizational deletion is back on for 8:00 tonight?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I would think
He's
so.
going
I
to
think-
destroy the civilization of Iran.
Yeah, no, this was like this was doomed to fail. A great love that was not meant to be. Guys, it was a pleasure as always. See you both tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Hope to see all the rest of you same exact time for DeProgram with Ted Rall and Jamarl Thomas. Bye, Robbie. Bye, Jamal.
Bye,
Have
y'all.
a good one, man. Be safe, guys.